Welcome again to another edition of Hot Plate Madness with the lovely Jen Martin. I'm Roger Hamaker. Today we are cooking the Tiny Tim Fajita. So let's get right started. First thing you're going to need is your ground beef.
Ground beef.
You'll need one of these things.
This is an onion. This is an unpeeled onion. It's got these like flaky things on the outside. This is a dried layer to the onion. It's cheaper to buy an onion like this than it is to buy the pre-peeled onions. You can get pre-peeled, but it's more expensive.
At least 30 cents to 50 cents more.
Yes.
And we'll show you how to make that work really well in a minute.
Roger, did you get us a garbage can this week?
It's called the floor. The floor. In your kitchen at home, you'll have a bag or something like this bag right here.
I just threw it on the floor.
All right. But you've got your red and green peppers. The cool thing about fajitas, right, is you can kind of add a lot of different stuff. You could have an orange pepper instead of a red pepper. You could just have green peppers. You could just, there's a lot of flexibility, right?
It don't matter if you're black or white.
You want your tortillas, your flour tortillas. Some people like cheese on their fajitas. That's not necessarily something you have to do, but it's available. Sour cream. And then also the magical fajita mix. You don't have to use fajita mix if you want to save a little bit of money, but it certainly makes it all more yummy. So, Jen Martin, if you could chop up that onion or pepper. And I'm going to throw the 1 pound of hamburger into the pan.
So I am cutting just a little bit off of the top here, and I'm going to pull this stem out so it doesn't cut all the way through. There we go. I'm going to take all of the inside seeds out of here, okay? And throw it in the garbage.
Hot Plate Madness will have a garbage can next week's episode, trust us.
And then I typically cut it in half and make sure that I get the extra seeds and junk out. It's really easy to just pull it off. Some people are picking, they use like a spoon to scrape it or whatnot, but you can see it's really not difficult. Oh, it's not difficult. All right, more for the floor. Roger is going to clean the floor today.
Luckily, the Hot Plate Madness kitchen has a staff member who will do that for us, which is why we have such a nonchalant, cavalier attitude about throwing trash on the floor.
How big would you like these? Some people like them in strips.
I think it's go for it. I mean, if you look at the little package here, they're
in
strips or whatever. So you can do it however you desire, Jen Martin. That's the wonderful thing about fajitas.
All right, I'm going to do strips.
Do what you want.
Okay. Typically fajitas have strips. So. Look at those beautiful strips. Do you see how that works? Do you see?
At Hot Plate Madness, we want to follow the instructions of the recipe. That was not allowed. We will put that back.
It has raw burger on it.
What we're trying to do, Jen Martin, is we are trying to put all the vegetables in there.
This one?
Yes.
Not that one.
Not that one.
This one?
That one.
This one.
That one.
Okay.
Because the objective here is you're going to soften these vegetables, and then eventually we will mix both ingredients together.
This one?
That will work.
Okay.
And you can hear the sizzle off those veggies. That's all working good. You notice that Jen was very concerned about the green pepper that had touched the hamburger and then got placed back there, that you don't want to contaminate your food. In this case, it wasn't a big deal because we were cooking everything up. But if you're dealing with raw, like if we were going to leave these things raw for some reason, like maybe a taco or something, you would definitely want to make sure your hamburger or any other meats are kept separate from the raw vegetables.
Bad jujus.
Why'd you get Mexican cheese? Why didn't you get American cheese?
It's all about building a wall.
Building a wall.
And so we're not about that here at the Hot Plate Madness kitchen. And so we welcome all types of cheese to our kitchen.
Sweet.
And you'll notice when we talked about not having a garbage can, somebody has gone a little overboard. In the My House world, we call that, I believe, passive aggressive, right? She had a smile on her face while she's doing it after she made it clear that I was a
Because
bad guy for not having a garbage can.
I'm just happy to be here on another episode of Hot Plate Madness with Roger and Jen.
All right, you'll also notice with this camera here, if you're looking from the above shot, you'll see we're frying these up really well on the other side here. This hamburger meat is going really well. And you'll notice I've also got it ground up pretty good, so it came out in one big square package, and I'm making it a little more ground here just with my awesome wooden spoon.
Hey, Roger.
All right, and so now we're going to take care of this onion. The lovely Jen Martin does not want to cut the onion because it will make her cry.
I told her you can't make me cry on television.
And now notice how, she was being all snarky with the garbage issue. So hopefully we can get her to cry.
Roger, what a mess you have made.
Now,
My goodness.
as we pointed out earlier, right, you've got this onion here it's not the peeled onion. This is the much cheaper fully clothed onion, right? And
Modesty,
so
people.
you can just easily grab the very first
Should I say
piece
modest
of that and
modest?
pull it right off, and your onion is good right there. So you've got the peeled onion, and you've also saved quite a bit of money right there.
So you're stripping.
I am stripping, I am removing the clothing from that onion.
All right. I'm so proud of you.
All right, so then we just want to chop this guy up. Doesn't take too long to take
I'm
care of
gonna
this.
stand over here. Like, gosh. I'm gonna be crying. It's gonna be bad.
Well, we could tell a really sad story, and that would maybe cover it.
Okay, so my first internship. I got a story. My first internship was at a women's shelter, and my first day there, they had me help prep supper. Guess what they had the intern do? I had to chop a lot of onions. And I'm in the kitchen, and I'm like, not wanting to disappoint anybody. This is my first internship, and I'm like, I can do this, and I'm like, I can't see a thing, and it's like just pouring down my face. And this lady that worked at the shelter comes over, and she's just like, "Oh, honey, are you okay?" And I'm like, it's the onions, and I'm thinking, yeah, no, I'm just really sad because I'm here. No, it's really, really I have to wear goggles, like swimming goggles, to protect my eyes. Have you ever seen people do that?
No, I have not.
Roger,
Oh, I was just trying to make you cry, though. That was a really sad story.
you're so mean. It was a sad story. My first impression of my first internship was me crying over onions.
But now you're touching them.
You're making a mess, Roger. Stop making a mess.
Hot Plate Madness is all about making a mess in the kitchen. If you make a mess, just remember to clean it up.
Please,
Yeah.
please, do the world a favor and clean up. Nobody wants to come into a stinky house. Moldy food, dirty dishes in the sink.
All right, so that's looking good.
Scraps on the floor.
Almost done. Now, you'll notice we have this packet of fajita seasoning mix. There's lots of different types. Just try whichever one you want.
Lowry's is
Lowry's.
amazing seasoning.
Yeah, we kind of cheated this week, and we got the best one we could afford.
I take it you want me to open this.
Well, actually, what you'll also need, you'll need like 1/4 cup of water or so for this too, which, of course, I neglected to bring. So,
Cappy, our producer.
Our Gelman will be running
Our
off to
Gelman
get
is
that,
getting our
that
quarter cup of water.
quarter cup of water for us.
I'm so grateful for Cappy.
I am
She's
glad
like the
that,
magic
well,
in the
and it's a de
background.
facto producer, right? She just kind of
Yeah.
showed up and we named
Yeah.
her producer, and now she does all this cool stuff for us.
I know.
Because we really, at the end of the day, don't know what we're doing.
She was asking me today, she was like, okay, do you need anything to get prepped or anything? And I said, no, I think we got it. But it's usually during the show that we need something.
And that is a true statement. All right, so this
Make sure that your meat is not pink. Like there's
Right.
some pink chunks in here.
you'll notice I'm
You wanna
chopping
get
it
that out
down
of
a little
there.
bit. And so we're cooking that, and we're looking good there.
Roger, where'd you get your burger this time?
This was Walmart purchase.
Ah, okay. Because these are like finely little spaghetti noodle chunks of meat.
Well, I've been chopping away at it
Well,
here.
no, like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The tool that they use. It's the difference between shredded cheese and finely shredded cheese.
Right.
You know? Like, you get burger Fred Meyer and it's a little more hearty than that. This is very dainty.
Well, and I think they're perfect for fajitas.
Yeah, oh, of course.
That'll work. Thank you so much.
Shall I open this now?
Not right at this moment, but what we want to
I'll open
do,
it.
let's just drain this off right here. So, unlike a couple episodes ago when I had to like use a towel and stuff, I've got a strainer here today. You'll notice I have it straining into a bowl here. The reason I'm doing that is you don't want to dump oil down your drain in your sink, because what this does is it clogs that sink up, and then you end up wondering why your sink is overflowing. It's because you've got it clogged up with this oil.
That hardens.
That hardens, absolutely. And so get an old coffee cup, can, or just anything to dump it into, and then just dispose of it in your trash once it hardens. You know, let it cool down a little, because of course it's extremely hot. So we're going to dump that right back in. And now, Jen Martin, if you wouldn't mind.
Yay for me. Right into the meat, right, Roger?
Yep, just right on in there, because we want this flavor packet to absorb into the
pretty.
meat here. So that goes in, and then you throw in your quarter cup of water there. And then you'll want to mix that up really nicely.
What's the matter?
It appears there's some trash problems back here.
Who did that?
I don't know, but
We should fire that person.
they should be, yes. So she's mixing that up really well. I'm going to cheat and steal one of these and see how it's going. I'm liking that.
Roger, I love this spoon. Please tell the world about this lovely spoon.
Well, I actually brought this special from my own kitchen. This spoon and I have been friends for, I would say, around 32 years now.
Is this friendship with Roger? Is that what
And that right there, that
means?
is,
That's friendship?
we were having a problem, and I
Am I gonna get burned?
accidentally left it on a
So
on a
I'm going to get
burner,
burned.
and I was wondering why my hamburger was smelling like it was on fire. It's because of that. But amazingly enough, it has maintained itself. So
It didn't dump you.
no.
I would have dumped you
But,
on the wayside and found better friends.
okay, so that's kind of absorbed pretty well, mixed in pretty
Looks
good.
beautiful, Roger. Beautiful.
And so now we're just going to dump these guys in after we've spent a minute or so with that. We're going to just dump that in like that.
How do you know when it's time to dump those in, Roger?
Well, give yourself about a minute or so of just kind of messing around with the mix and
But
mixing
like,
that
do
in.
the vegetables need to be a certain tenderness?
Yes. And you'll notice earlier I grabbed one and I bit it and I was like, yeah, this one's working for me, so that's why I went with this plan.
All right.
But the great thing
It
about
works for
fajitas,
Roger.
now yeah, and really that's the whole point of the show. If it works for me, it's all good. But the cool thing about fajitas, right, is we could have added different ingredients to this, different peppers. We could have done it with chicken instead of beef. We could have had shrimp in here instead of beef or whatever. So you've got a lot of flexibility. Even the packet that we put in there, the fajita mix, there's a special one for like chicken and a special one for seafood and all that. So you've got a lot of flexibility with what you can do with this particular meal. You just want to make sure it gets nice and hot. And then we also want to warm up some tortillas. Now there's a really easy method to do these and a not as easy method. We're going to do the not as easy method, which is
Directly on the hot plate.
well, we could do directly on the hot plate.
I've done that before.
All right, I'm going to turn this part of the deal over to Jen Martin, who's saying she's done that directly
Well,
on the
not
hot
on
plate.
this hot plate.
So, Jen,
Okay, so typically you would take a pan that Roger has dirtied, or not dirtied, but you would just heat it up for a few seconds on either side. Just get it warm and soft, right? No comment. So, really sorry. I just want to say things.
There, just so the audience out there is aware, we are editing a special My House Hot Plate Madness After Dark episode.
That's what she said!
Which will
That's what she
have all
said.
of these inappropriate statements that Jen so desperately wants to say.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, family-friendly version is the one you're watching now. So continue.
You're going to get your tortilla warm and soft, okay? And so you can do that on a pan, but if you've got a surface like the hot plate, right? Like this particular hot plate,
You can use
there's
that.
different hot plates. Let's go.
Actually, this one doesn't move.
Oh my goodness.
So that's as far as
This
that.
other hot plate is an actual coil hot plate. You don't want to put this on a coil hot plate. You do it on a hot plate that's like this, where it's just like a griddle surface, so that you can just kind of put it on there. You can hear it. We're going to turn it down to low, because we're just trying to warm this up a little bit.
Keeping in mind that turning down our hot plate from anything other than high often means you
Look
can't
at
cook
that. Do
anything.
you see
but
how
there
it just
is.
kind of toasted it right away? So it's just like a griddle.
Don't burn yourself.
I went to beauty school once upon a time, and I burned all the capillaries in my
I'm
fingers.
talking about people watching.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Since most of the audience probably has not burned all their capillaries at beauty school.
Don't burn yourself.
You don't have any plates, Roger.
Luckily, Gelman,
Gelman!
our producer, will go and retrieve what we once
My-
again have forgotten, which is the plates
My
to actually
tortilla
serve
is
this
getting
stuff.
cold. That's what she saw.
All right, so you'll notice that this is kind of steaming quite a bit now. You know you're looking good there with fajitas, because of course when you're in a Mexican restaurant or whatever, they bring those things out sizzling hot usually, making a lot of racket and a lot of noise.
Yep.
We're not quite at that level at the My House kitchen, but we're getting there. Are you
I'm
thinking
just
we're pretty good with that?
Keeping it warm while we wait for the plate that you didn't prepare us with.
Correct. Also, we have the sour cream. The benefit of the sour cream is you can spread it out inside the
Did you bring a
fajita.
spoon for that?
Luckily, we have our big giant knife here where we can do that.
Oh my goodness.
So if you would like to spread that, we certainly can.
Oh, Roger.
We're low rent here at Hot
I
Plate
need a
Madness.
spoon for the sour cream, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Gelman. I'll use a knife for now. This excessively large knife for this little tub.
I'm a guy. I don't play around. When I need to cut something, I do it right.
I feel like Crocodile Dundee. This is a knife. Right here. How's that? This is terrible.
I think we're
I
looking
can't believe
good.
you didn't give me a spoon. Okay.
All right.
Whoa.
So and then you just spoon a little bit of this stuff right in there, and look, that's looking really nice. You notice how the
Pretty.
sauces and whatnot have covered all these vegetables really well. And it should come more that way, but that's probably good.
Look at that.
And then you want to roll that sucker up if you want.
Okay, who's gonna be our tester?
There's also some cheese, so whoever is the
Who
tester,
wants cheese?
I'm allergic to onions.
if you want cheese,
Are
you
you
can
really?
have it.
You're the second person I know that's allergic to onions. It's cool. Not really.
I mean,
Well,
not cool at all.
Because I did it the first
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
All right, hey Journey, come on up here and grab one of these.
Come on,
awesome
Journey.
fajitas.
It smells good though.
Go on up. You are
Would you like some cheese,
contestant. I can't eat cheese.
No cheese. Thank you, ma'am. You are so sweet. Okay.
If it tastes horrible, just smile anyway.
Yes, if it tastes horrible, life would be.
Yeah, it's okay.
Here you
can
go.
actually
You
tell
just
it's good.
take it and you're just gonna roll it up like this. Take a bite like a taco. Scoot this way. Come back into the camera here. And then smile at the camera and tell them how amazing
All
it
right,
is.
so the Tiny Tim Fajita, how is it? Journey.
Vegeta. Remember, we're Dragon Ball Z here.
It's relatively good.
It's relatively good. You said so. All right, yay!
That's probably because it
Relatively
belongs to the Tim.
Relatively
And I
I go sit down now?
Yes, you can. Great.
Anyone else? A fajita. All right, come on down. Let's do this. Oh, I'm gonna toast. I'm gonna make it
I don't
your
have to go on
tortilla
camera.
warm
No, you don't have to
and
go on.
soft.
Why
All right, so we are serving up the rest of these fajitas. It
Fajitas.
seems to have been a relatively successful deal today. So we will see you on the next episode of Hot Plate Madness with Jen Martin and me, Roger. All right, take care.
Peace out.